Alrighty, last week Happymodel sent us some ES915s to try out, myself and a couple of the other ExpressLRS devs, Alessandro and Wes, and I got out and flew it on the weekend. This is great. This is the first lot of hardware that's been released for ExpressLRS, and it just performed. It flew fine, no problems. I don't do long range, more just close range racing. I was perfectly fine for that, and there was no issue. So I thought I'd better give you guys a quick rundown besides just saying, you know, it flies. Looking at it, this is what you get when you buy all of the kit. If we start with, say, the receiver. So the receiver is the same size as a FrSky R9. This is the R9mm, I think. So same size. You'll see a few other things. They both use the IPEX4, which is a little bit annoying, not only because it's small, fragile, but the antennas are more expensive. So if you like to buy antennas from AliExpress or somewhere else, they're usually the IPEX1, the larger versions. The pads for the leads are really quite small and close together compared to what's on the FrSky. They do provide flashing pads, so if you ever need to update the bootloader or do anything else, they're nice and conveniently located up here for your ST-Link. The antenna quality that comes with it, similar quality to what you'd get from AliExpress. No real issue. Being 915, you'll have the same issues with all other large antennas on quads. Mine usually end up being all bent up, twisted, missing heat shrink, etc. Apart from that, it's a nice little package. A few extras on here, like the button. The button actually doesn't do anything. ExpressLRS doesn't use it for binding. So no, that's a tidy little receiver. Comparing it against our DIY jobby, so here we have the Mini that's on the repo using the ESP module. So it's about half the size. Looking at the transmitter. So the transmitter doesn't come without a case. That's pretty annoying. So they do link a case you can buy. This is one I just threw together and printed out. It's based on the Happymodel model they provide, and also others that are on the repo. I did end up using a normal dipole antenna from FrSky. This is one I've tuned and used on my R9. The antenna they provide, it actually doesn't feel too great. It's going to get bent up, not broken because you're not crashing into things, but you know, it's going to get bent up in your case and whatever else. If you're being put off because it's 915 instead of the EU guys looking for 868, it's the same hardware, just buy different antennas, and I would recommend buying a different transmitter antenna anyway. So you might as well buy a 868 antenna and while you're at it, get a new antenna for the receiver. You will need to get a case. Other thing, it doesn't have an external XT30 or 60 for a battery, and this is very power hungry. So max power on this I measured is about 1.1 watt, so a bit over 30 dB, and that's right on par with the R9. So they're pretty much exactly the same. The heatsink on the back is great. Problem being though, when it goes in a normal case and in a JR bay, it's on the base, so there's no airflow around it. So if you're going to use higher power, you do need to install a fan. They do provide a fan pad here. So if anyone's familiar with the fan mod on the R9, you can do the same thing here, and they've conveniently broken out a pad for you to use. Now, I did take one for the team, and I tested this on the bench on 1 watt. I had it out of the JR bay, so it did have some extra airflow around it. And it got up to 100 degrees plus. And after about 40 minutes, the LQ started to become erratic, and it did fail. And with that said, it is now broken. I've done the same thing on the R9 and it still works fine. So take the warning that using it above 250 milliwatts, use a fan for cooling. With that said, if you're going to install a fan, I would just put it on all the time. What else? This guy's missing what we call the ESP backpack. So a couple of the devs and a few of myself including attach a ESP to our R9s and transmitters that we use to hook up to or wirelessly connect to other devices. I use mine to connect to my goggles for easy channel changing on my VTX, and there are plans to do other work with connection between modules and equipment. It would have been really nice to see this on here. So any other manufacturers looking to manufacture ExpressLRS gear, reach out to us on Discord, any of the devs, have a chat about any hardware you're making before you release it. Otherwise, it feels solid, it's got everything you need on there, and you can mix and match. So you can use the transmitter with the R9mm or the DIY receiver, or you can use your R9 transmitter, and if you're after more receivers, just buy the receiver from Happymodel and they'll all work. So all the R9 gear family, just all the 900, 915, 868 gear, that just all works together, so you can mix and match them. And with that said, if you are going to buy it, that'd be great to support manufacturers who are supporting ExpressLRS. If we support them, hopefully we'll see a lot more gear come out in the future. So no flight video from me because that's boring, me just getting around the park. Stand by, hopefully we'll see Wes in the future put something out with a little bit of range. Cheers.